Hello everyone and welcome back to my second channel where we upload music, gaming, not gaming, that's on my main channel. Welcome to my second channel where we upload music stuff, weather stuff, life stuff, stuff that I've got hobbies against with outside of gaming basically, which is on my main channel. So today we're just going to go through the charts, the 12Z and 18Z for GFS and other 12Z charts. And we'll have a little look at what the CFS has shown for Christmas, because why not? And we'll run through that just to see, extended. I thought I'd add some extended to this. If you remember last video that we did 2 days ago, there was a lot of cold potential. Has that stayed? You'll see in a minute. The model output of the last couple of days has been very interesting. Some of the most interesting model output I've seen in a long time. I've seen in 3-4 years, maybe more than that actually. But yeah, some crazy model output going on at the minute. The fact that we're only in November as well is making me really interested in it as well. If this was February, I'd be like, we get a week of it, it's gone. But because we're not even in winter yet, that's really interesting to me. I'm going to try and not swing back and forward like I did last video. I noticed when I was editing the video, I noticed I was actually swinging back and forward a lot. But yeah, we will. So I thought we'd go through some model data. Very interesting models coming up. You'll see in a minute why they are. Okay. Let's get on with it. We'll start off with what we started off with usually. We'll start off with the average temperature at the Fife weather station. So we're currently sitting at 7.7 for the average temperature. This is going to be mainly focused on Scotland. We'll talk about the UK some other times as well, but mainly Scotland for this video. Or all our videos really. But we will talk about UK a little bit as well, but mainly focus on Scotland. For this video, these videos that I do for weather. So another thing I should say, I will be releasing my my winter forecast for the first time ever. I've never done a seasonal forecast before, so that'll be really interesting to see how that goes. That'll be released on the 30th of November, 1st of December. I haven't really decided yet. Really depends how things go. So let's just get on with it. I'll stop rambling and I'll get on. So we're going to have a look at the average temperature at the Fife weather station. So we're currently sitting at 7.7 for November 2021 so far. Well above average, very mild so far. Nowhere near 2011. That was a really mild month. We're not going to get anywhere near that. We're not going to get anywhere near 2014 or last year either. This might actually take a bit of a plummet over the next couple of weeks as well. It will get milder over... It's going to get milder over the next couple of days, and then it might actually take a bit of a plummet at the weekend because it's going to start getting really cold, or a bit colder at the weekend, and then we'll see what the models are saying after that. Precipitation, we're currently sitting at 14.6, so we've increased very slightly over the last 2 days. Nothing significant though. There might be a bit of rain around on Saturday, which might bring this up to around 18ish, and then we'll wait and see until the end of the month if it's going to rain or snow. Obviously, if it snows, I don't think this takes into account snow, because obviously it's rainfall, so that might actually ruin it a little bit. My prediction was 650 to 60 mils for precipitation and 5.8 to 6.3 for temperature. Might actually get a bit below that actually for temperature, because it is looking a lot colder than I originally anticipated. But yeah, we'll see that in a minute. So that's that done. 50 to 60, we'll wait and see how that ends up, and we'll review that probably in the first weekend of December or something. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, I'm doing these videos through the winter. I'm not sure I'll continue into spring. It's just my favourite season, so why not, So we will move on to the models now. So we're going to start off with the UK Met Office, our very own UK Met Office, actually. And yes, we are bringing up tomorrow, we're bringing up southwesterly winds, yes. So it's going to be very mild on Thursday. I've got 2 more days of mild weather coming up before it goes a bit cooler on Saturday, and then we'll see in a minute what happens, because I am spoiling it a little bit. And yes, we push through to Friday, and it's looking still mild. It's going to be very warm, actually. Maybe because of phone effect, read up that on Google. I'm not going to talk through it in this video. Because of phone effect, Aberdeen might see about 17, maybe 18 degrees on Friday. Very warm for this time of year. But yeah, one extreme to another, because on Sunday we start pulling in these northerly winds, so yeah, it's going to get fairly cold, actually dropping below average probably for Scotland. And yes, we start to bring in this northerly wind, a bit northeasterly a little bit more. But yeah, we start bringing this northerly wind on Sunday, and that'll lower temperatures to around 6-7 degrees maybe. And then Tuesday, the high pressure builds back in, so it's not as cold, but it is still quite chilly. There will be overnight frost on pretty much all nights this week, pretty much, I imagine. And then we push through to Tuesday, and we keep that high pressure there. Still pretty cold with that, probably like 7 degrees in the afternoon, maybe 8 if you're lucky. And then this is the day where another big change happens. So like we take the change on Sunday, and then we kind of enhance it with another change on Wednesday, and we bring down these northerly winds coming from a very far away north as well, right from the top of the map, I think, as well. Probably around here as well, probably around Faroe Isles, I think that is. No, it's not Faroe Isles. Faroe Isles is here. What's that place called again? I can't remember. We'll just say the Arctic, because that's where all this area is. That area, even. And yeah, so we are bringing down Wednesday, the 24th of November. We are bringing down northerly winds. So the Met Office is on board with this as well next week. I notice here we've got 1,045 millibars up at Greenland as well. Like this is like middle of Greenland as well, so that's very cold. Yeah, we're bringing down a lot of cold air, but this 1,045 millibars here, that's going to be quite difficult to break down in a hurry. I think it's going to be at least a week before we can try and lower that below 1,000, I think. But yeah, that's a very interesting run again. And this is the GEM now, so this is the Canadian model. Some say not the most reliable one, but we'll go with it. And yeah, we're bringing in southwesterly winds, of course, for the next 2 days, annoyingly. But, I mean, it's kind of important. You imagine, like, the southwesterlies are probably, they're probably contributing to the effect, maybe. I don't know. But they probably are. And yeah, we start to bring down this northerly on Saturday. It's touching, if you have a look at the temps here, it's not overly cold yet, but it's getting there. Like, it's starting to go a bit cooler in the far north of Scotland. And then on Sunday, we're all in this cooler air mass, -5 ISO, right into Scotland there. I imagine that'll push further down later in the day as well. And yes, we start to topple over high pressure, so there will be quite a bit of frost overnight on Monday night as well. We go back to 0 Celsius isotherm, but maybe still enough. Like, there's obviously still enough for frost, as on Christmas Day 2019 when we did last video. And yes, Tuesday 23rd, we start to really build this more to Greenland. Now 1,055 millibars is appearing as well as very strong high pressure. And we bring down this sort of low pressure thing as well, and it might actually produce some snow on this. It's rain at the time, probably in the north to start with, and then on Thursday, this is the date that's like the key date. The key date is Thursday as well. This is like Wednesday and Thursday next week is going to be a really big one to watch. It's only a week away, so it is. We are getting growing more confidence that this northerly will happen next week. But yeah, this actually might produce quite a bit of snow in the east as well, and in the north, of course. And if you have a look at the dew points as well, the 2 metre dew points, you can see here 0 Celsius is just about touching most of Scotland. So you can probably imagine that anywhere within that 0 Celsius dew point will probably have snow. The east is just about keeping away from that, so it might be a bit sleety in the east. But yeah, and then on Friday it really starts to get dramatic. We start bringing down this northerly, we're obviously bringing down the northerly, but we are bringing in colder air as the days go on. As we look at this, high pressure still sitting in Greenland. I feel like that's breaking it down a bit quicker than what would actually happen, but that's just my opinion. And yes, we are starting to, it's even building back in again, and we're starting to, Saturday next week as well. -10 is getting right into the north of Scotland. That would be guaranteed snow pretty much in that. -5 probably is the same, probably guaranteed snow. But because it's November, it might be a bit hit and miss, but maybe not. But yeah. And yeah, so that's where we end up on the 27th of November, looking quite cold, like actually very cold on the 27th of November. That would probably, if that came off, that would probably be struggling to get above freezing in most parts of Scotland, maybe 1 degree if you're lucky. But yeah, that is quite cold. There's a bit of hints of 2010 here. I remember 2010 around 26th, 27th. I don't remember. I don't remember it exactly, but I do know from like research and stuff, going back and stuff. That it has a similar setup, quite a similar setup, and it starts turning easterly towards the end of November. Then we probably would have a bit like 2010 actually. But yeah, the thing about 2010 though is we didn't have a weak to or moderate La Nina in 2010. We didn't have an easterly QBO either. So I don't think it would follow the same sort of pattern really. But yeah, it's not going to follow the same pattern anyway. But yeah, I'll tell you in my December forecast in a couple of weeks' time what I think that's going to be like. But yeah, this is looking very cold on the 27th with the GM. The ECM 12Z, let's have a look. Let's see if we continue with that northerly in the ECM 12Z. You'll find out in a minute. So southwesterly winds, boringness for the next couple of days, but we are losing that autumnal, the long, mild smell from the autumn that's gone on since like middle of August, whatever. I don't even know, it was that long ago. We start pulling in these northerly winds on the 21st. This is the day of change. This is the day that everything changes. The day that like the northerlies started setting in, and who knows, maybe it's a very cold winter. This is not going as far. Actually, it's only 21st actually, what am I talking about? And then frosty conditions the 22nd, and then actually it starts bringing it down a bit earlier, not that earlier, but a bit earlier. Tip of water there. Got 1,035 millibars over the Arctic and Greenland, so that's a bit of blocking going on. Quite a bit of block. 1,040 actually. I didn't read that right. And yes, we're bringing in this northerly. And it does set in on the 24th. It's actually really strong Greenland blocking going on. And yes, we bring the -5 right into the whole of the UK. -10 is touching the tip of Scotland as well. That'd be really cold. And yes, you really will feel that. And yes, winter showers are possible in the north and the east with this. And yes, bringing down quite a cold air mass, polar maritime, -10 getting into almost the whole of Scotland. That would be probably struggling to get above freezing with that. And we start to get this low pressure developing down the south, so there might be a bit of a snow event down there. But yeah, definitely a bit of snow event then, because we're still in -5 ISO. And yeah, that is really cold at this point. And 27th is another key day as well, although the 0 Celsius ice firm do start coming back in. Although if we have a look at the dew points, if I'm allowed to, no, I'm not allowed to with the ECM. The dew points are probably below freezing at this point, so maybe even still snow. Sleet maybe in the south, snow in the north maybe even down to coastal areas. It'll probably be more rain or sleet though. But yeah, it actually looks like this is ridging back to Greenland, and we'll probably bring down another northerly for the 28th, probably. So yeah, that's looking really interesting for the ECM as well. Another interesting model. Let's have a look at the GFS 12Z then. So we've got southwesterly winds on the 18th today, sorry. And then tomorrow we're bringing in more southwesterly winds. It does turn a little bit more westerly. And yes, we start to bring this northerly on Saturday night, and it will reach all areas in Scotland anyway. The -5 ISO, some winter showers even possible across higher grounds, maybe some lower ground as well. And we can have a look at the we can have a look at the precipitation. So yeah, a bit east. The east might have some winter showers. You notice there, it's not quite touching like Fife or Edinburgh area or whatever. So yeah, that's the thing with northerlies. Like they don't hit Fife or Edinburgh or Dundee very easily. You want to turn it northeast or easterly for that one. But yeah, even then it's still quite cold. Massive change to what we've had over this autumn so far. I think I did these videos at the perfect time, by the way. I started them last week, just before we started to get these signs. Yeah, 23rd of November. That's a bit later with the northerly pulling down, but I think it will eventually get there. We're starting to ridge the ground. 1,050 millibars there. It's going to be really hard to break down in a hurry. And we start to bring this northerly on the 24th. So yes, same idea again. Bring down a northerly, quite potent northerly spell as well. -10 touching most parts of Scotland, the east in particular as well. So there will be winter showers in the east with that. If I look at precipitation, yes, bit more northern areas, but they will, if they start coming inland a little bit, they will, there will probably still be some in the east as well. That's what I was trying to say. And yes, they push through it. That's actually really wintry, like very wintry on the 26th of November. -5 right over most of the country. That will probably bring in quite a lot of snow actually to most parts. Yes, look at this. It is getting there. In the south as well, and most parts of Scotland getting some snow at some point. And yes, again on Saturday, it's still looking really wintry. And yes, -5 still over the country. Precipitation looking a lot of snow for the north and the east as well. And we bring that down. But keep this northerly going on the 28th. And then another snow event, another one on the 29th. Yes. precipitation. We are bringing most parts of the country are getting snow now. Like, it's really showing it. I imagine this is actually for this part in the day though. Maybe at 12 o'clock. So maybe the other parts of the day will have snow. I don't know if this counts for like the whole. I doubt it does because we've got hourly intervals at this point. Yeah, very interesting GFS run. I doubt it will happen. It's a bit extreme, but you know. Yeah, the idea is there that we will get cold though. And yeah, they're still bringing those northerlies even into the first day of December. I don't know how it's going to play out. We're still in the -5. Still in the -5. And yes, we're starting to go a bit more westerly on the 2nd. So we are bringing in milder air. Although this is looking like it's going back to Greenland again. Even with the GFS wanting to return to westerlies, it still looks like maybe 3rd, 4th of December. Might start pulling it. Yes, exactly. We start pulling down. Trying to anyway, but this low pressure, well, if this pushes down, it will start to bring in more northerlies, and if we start getting a ridge to Scandinavia. It's all looking interesting as well. Like, it's looking really interesting. Have a look at snow depth, actually. You know, it's only really showing it for there, but I reckon if we go back a bit, I don't really like looking at snow charts because they are kind of inaccurate, but it is showing snow around in Scotland, so yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Very different November, this end to November. The last 10 years or so, November's ended fairly mild, actually. Maybe some chilly bits here and there, but that's a bit... chilly bits, what? But yeah, it's all looking really interesting. It's definitely going to be an interesting couple of weeks coming up. If we have a look at this, if we have a look and see how this compares, let's go to Dundee. It's probably better. Because it's actually... I don't know why it would be better, but yeah. Because it's a bit further north, so it's more coastal, I guess. That's not the reason, it's because I'm here. There. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Let's just get on with it. So yeah, you notice here we are starting very mild, but and we are going down quite significantly. Average is -6.2 for upper air temperatures on this one. And yes, actually we go really cold on the 25th. Look at that, -8.5, and that's as the average. Yeah, so some of them are still up at -2 or -3, but there's only a few. There's only actually one above the yellow, up the red line at this point. So yeah, a lot of them in agreement now that we're going to go below -5. And yeah, still staying pretty cold. And this actually dropped for the first... This is extended range, so there's probably not really any point looking at this. But in the extended range, it actually looks like December's kind of shifted downwards again, because that was actually above average, above the red line 2 days ago when we did this video, or even yesterday as well, it was above average as well. And we are pushing forward as well, so it looks like this might last into December, maybe. There's a good chance it might still last at the end of November into December. I really don't see that blocking disappearing in a week though, or even 5 days as the models were showing. I don't really see that happening. Especially got 1,050 or whatever over Greenland, like, really? And if I have a look at the operational run, it is around the average of the white line, maybe a bit below at times, but yeah, you notice there it is a bit around average, so that's really interesting. It actually goes really above average on the 23rd, 24th though. So that's actually the warmest, probably the warmest ensemble member around 23rd, 24th. Okay, so that actual high pressure was actually producing southwesterlies, I think. Probably, maybe a bit more westerly, but not southwesterlies, but a bit more westerly than northwesterly, I imagine. And yeah, it really takes a plummet downwards on the 25th, as most ensemble members are doing. And yeah, it stays pretty cold up until the end as well. So yeah, that's a really interesting run, that. A lot to keep an eye on. That's just one run as well. A lot of them over the last couple of days have been cold. Like, most of them actually have been cold. Different ideas of the same sort of thing though. Different like what you call it? Different. What's like a thing of the same idea? I can't remember the name. Different ideas of the same idea. I feel like. This is the 18Z, so I've not actually seen this yet. So this is the first time I've seen this. I've not loaded up the ensembles on as a new tab because I don't want to like show the ensembles and then ruin it. But yeah, this is Thursday. We're bringing up Southwest. This is going to be as much a surprise as it is for you, unless you've seen it, that of course. And then yeah, we start to go a little bit more westerly, so it does cool down Friday night, and then we start bringing in a northerly on Saturday night. So this is an agreement as well on Saturday night that we are starting to ridge to Greenland. We're starting to bring down a northerly. Yes, 21st is looking quite cold at night. -5 into most parts of the country. So yes, there's going to be some frost overnight on Sunday. Doubt there'll be much wind showers, maybe some in the north. And yes, we start to 22nd of November. We do push that high pressure through, but obviously it will turn around 23rd, and we start to pull in more of a northwesterly with this run, though, interestingly enough. This one starts to pull more of a northwesterly. It does get -5 in nicely as well, though, but it is a bit more of a northwesterly than a northerly. And yes, this actually pushes through a lot, like a really deep area of low pressure on the 25th. It will be in a cold air mass, but it might be a bit more sleety than snowy, this one, to most parts of Scotland. And then we do eventually, we start to, this low pressure, it does get cold, so it might be a bit of a snow event around with that on 26th, quite a big one as well. There is an idea that around 25th, 26th, 27th, there will be quite a bit of snow around it, in places anyway. It might start getting a bit quite deep actually by the weekend, maybe. And this is actually looking really stormy, but blizzardy. Blizzardy, a bit of a blizzard on the 27th. Got the -5 into Scotland, but not into the south. But if the dew points are low enough, we'll have a look at the dew points in a minute. Then yeah, we could probably get some snow with that in the north anyway. And yes, 28th, we do start to pull down that northerly, so it does start to go colder. So a little bit more delayed, but I'd probably say this is actually a more interesting one, interestingly enough. It doesn't bring the cold down that quickly, but when it does, it really does. And it starts to produce a lot of winteriness. You imagine it's a cold pool as well. A very cold pool. And we've got 1,055 millibars over Greenland, so you can probably imagine, in my opinion, that would probably take about a week to go away. To really lower, and if it indeed does, so you're probably talking around the 4th of December at that point. And yes, we continue that northerly. -10 is actually getting into Scotland, so this is actually turning even colder to the start of next week. The following week. And yes, we still keep that northerly going. Actually, it might be a bit wintry at that point in the west. And yes, we keep going, and still with the cold air, a little bit cooler. But again, like I say, this blocking is kind of reducing a bit quicker than I would expect, but that's just me. And yes, we continue going, and it does, look at this though, 1,050 millibars over Greenland. We are losing the vortex sign. Look at this, the vortex is very tiny at this point. And as we go up to the 3rd of November, it is actually looking quite cold. Maybe some frost with that. Starting to maybe pull down some cold air. It is starting to turn easterly though, and you notice we've got some Scandinavian highs getting going as well, so that might turn easterly for around the 5th of December. So it's really interesting. Even into the first week of December, the models are hinting at maybe the cold weather continuing into the start of December. Could this be a very cold start to the winter? I would not be surprised if it is, to be honest. Given how cold it was at the end of November and what happened in 2010, but yeah, I'm not thinking that we're going to have a 2010 again. I will reveal more about this in December forecast, but 2010 was extremely severe in December, and really significant snow appeared every single day almost. But I think this is maybe more spreaded out. Like, it will be like it, but it'll be more spreaded out over time. I've revealed too much. But yeah, I'm just gonna move on now. So we're gonna have a look at CFS now. So I'm gonna have a look. What the heck has this done? Actually, we need to have a look at ensembles. What am I doing? Okay, let me just load up CFS first, because I don't know what this has done. Because that's on 12, I think. That's on 6, that's on 12. Okay, so let's do this one on 0. Okay. Let's have a look at the ensembles, see how that compares to the overall ensembles. I assume that'll be in the higher half of this. So yeah, we can see here that, of course, over the next couple of days, we are dropping below -5. Go back to that. We are dropping below -5 isotherm. Just about getting into Scotland. It is staying stable though, overall. And yes, we do go down, maybe backing away a little bit on the cold, but still well below -5. Still really cold. Doesn't matter where it is between -5 and -10. There's going to be everything falling from the sky would be snow at that point, I think, anyway. And yes, we do notice here, it has dropped a little bit. This is just extended range, this is me just speculating, but at the extended range, it is dropping a little bit more in the ensemble average down to about minus 3-ish. And this one here, started off where I am hovering over now. That start off around minus 3 as well, so maybe this is heading in the same direction, who knows. But yeah, it's definitely one to watch. I have overall hover over the operational run. It is until around the 27th. It is the upper end of it, so it is probably the top third, maybe even more one as well. It does drop a little bit more the white line. The ensemble average around the 24th, but only slightly. It probably wouldn't make much of a difference. So it is up and down until around 26th, and maybe a sustained cold spell, but who knows. Yeah, it is one to watch. Really interesting. Some of the most interesting charts I've seen in a long time, like probably ever actually, because I only started looking at these charts in like 2017. The Beasts from the East ones were quite interesting. The ones that we had earlier in February as well, when we had that Easterly for about 5 days, was quite interesting. This one is looking very different because it is a different point in the year, completely different point of the winter, not even the winter, it's like the end of autumn. And we've got a lot of the winter to go, we're not even in winter yet, and we're seeing things like this. So it's making it really interesting for me anyway. It's making it really interesting to me. Will they shift further downwards? Will they flop over the next couple of days? We'll see. I can't see them flopping around the 25th now, though, even though the operation of the GFS was a little bit there. But it was more interesting in my opinion. So yeah, that was the 18Z there. This on our CFS. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to go right up to, this is GFS. What am I doing? Okay, that's 6Z, that's 12Z. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start from now. We're just going to rattle through this really quickly and see what they're showing, and we'll go right up to Christmas into the new year, I think, and then we'll compare each of them at the end. So yeah, let's just keep going very quickly, bring this Northerly Blast in, and then we do renew that Northerly. It is looking very wintry at that point on the 27th, and yes, same idea, keep getting the Northerlies down. Blocking still sitting there, 1040 millibars, more snowy weather coming down as well. Wintry weather, blocking stays there, we keep bringing down Northerly winds, keep bringing Northerly winds down. It's still really cold. It does go a bit more southwesterly in the 8th of December though, so it does get milder for a time, but we are seeing signs that maybe starting to reach to Scandinavia, but it doesn't quite get there that much, and yes, we start to bring more of an Atlantic influence in, and looks really stormy around the 17th of December there actually, and yes, so as we move up to Christmas, it is probably a mild Christmas, actually a very mild Christmas, not very mild Christmas, maybe some frost around with that on Christmas Eve, as the high pressure moves, but not much. And then we move up to the new year. We start to see signs of a Scandinavian high, quite strong Scandinavian high coming up as well. So we might start pulling in some. Actually, we're probably almost definitely going to start bringing in some cold winds with that. The Scandinavian high is really strong. Yes, start bringing easterly winds in. -5 gets in. And yes, on New Year's Day, it's actually looking really cold, very frosty as well in the east, most parts as well. But yeah, that's an interesting chart around Christmas. So that was quite a very mild Christmas, but also a cold New Year's, sorry. Let's rattle through this very quickly. So obviously cold weather is looking really wintry around 28th. And as we start, winter is looking very cold, with a -5 right over us. So just to rattle through this to Christmas, very southwesterly flow on the 10th of December. Vortex powered up quite significantly though. And then, yeah, 17th of December looking very mild. Maybe start bringing in a bit more of an easterly influence then. And start to ridge to Greenland again on the 21st. So this is starting to pull down maybe some cold winds. But actually it doesn't. It topples over. But around 23rd, the south does get quite cold. The east as well. Let's get quite cold. Is this going to be a cold Christmas? It's a cold Christmas Eve for the south. And it is probably starting to push upwards a little bit. But 25th, that might be quite cold for the south. So I'd probably say that's cold for the south, but not the north. Maybe some wintry showers as well around with that. And yeah, we push that through. And it is looking quite cold around 29th. And New Year's is looking quite cold. So yeah, that's probably a mixed Christmas with that one. And if we're going with the 12Z, that's looking very cold to end the month. Like, it's the idea. Although this does topple in a bit quicker, this one. It does very bizarrely topple in around the 1st of December. But yeah, the CFS is known to actually always try to get back to mild weather very quickly. So we run up, we start to build Scandinavian High around the 7th of December, so we're threatening to build in. This ideas here about a Scandinavian High in the first week of December, it's just ideas now. I'm just I'm just speculating at this point. But if that does happen, that'd be very cold again, even after this week. Yeah, we've got a really interesting run here as well. Like, December's looking really cold, first half anyway. And yeah, still more, like, this blocking is sitting, well, not blocking, but this high is like just sitting over north, like in the north most of the time. I'm talking about quickly here because I do want to get through this very quickly. Looking very cold in the longest day of the year there. And yeah, we keep pushing it down. It does get a little bit more milder, but the east is cold, so you can probably call that a cold Christmas there. Maybe even some snow in the east. Maybe. We'll look at precipitation. There is a chance of it getting into the east, but not that much. Christmas Eve does look quite snowy, though. For some places, anyway. Might be some sleet around with that, actually. And then I assume we're going to push up. Yeah, I knew this would be the changing point. I don't know why. I just knew this was going to happen. And yes, we actually do bring in a very, like, extremely cold, -10 ISO on the 30th of December. And yeah, we actually stay cold right into the new year, and it's looking really cold. Very bizarre chart, but yeah. Let's just run up to my birthday. Let's see what it'd be like on my birthday. It's actually looking quite cold on my birthday, so that'd be probably a white birthday if I'm lucky. Last time I had a white birthday was in 2011, I think. No, it was 2010 actually. Yeah, 2010 was the last time I had a white birthday, weirdly enough, even though my birthday sits right in the middle of winter. I'd hate if I have a birthday that's sitting in like July or something. I'd hate that so much. But yeah, that's it. That was a very interesting video. We've gone through all the charts and looking very interesting over the next couple of weeks. Even in December, it's looking quite interesting as well. I wouldn't take the CFS literally though, because that's a long time away, obviously. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. I'll probably do another one of these on Saturday morning, and then we'll be having a little bit of a break until like Wednesday, because I'm not going to be here for a couple of days. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be at the PC for a couple of days anyway, because I'm doing other things. Yeah, so on Saturday we'll do another one and seeing how they've enhanced that northerly. We can if we start seeing models showing that northerly on on Saturday, we can probably about say that it's probably definitely going to happen at that point. Yeah, so. And then we'll obviously see what's going to happen in early December as well. We can start thinking about that as we go colder. So we're sitting in like we're sitting in a cold air mass at the point where we're probably thinking about what's going to happen next. You know, it's looking very interesting. I've said this a lot. I shouldn't keep repeating myself, but it's looking like really interesting over the next couple of weeks. I've said that so much. I should actually stop saying that. Yeah, so we'll be back on Saturday with another one of these, and then take a break till Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, that will be a really big video, because we will be showing you 2010. We'll be going back to 2010 to see how that played out. 2009-10, I think. No, 2010-11 I'm going to do on Wednesday. And on Friday, we'll probably do something else. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Maybe Saturday, sorry. We'll probably throw something in there that I've not done yet in these sort of videos. So yeah. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these videos. They're really fun as well. Like, especially now that we've got really interesting charts. I swear, if this high pressure kept going on that we've had for the whole oh my god. There was actually a few charts this time last week that actually did keep that high pressure going until December, or like the end of November, which would suck. Would really suck. But yeah. That's going to do it for this episode, and we'll be back on Friday. So if you enjoyed the video, put that like button. If you haven't already, want to keep up to date with all the videos on my main channel or this channel, weather stuff, please subscribe. And 2007 on time charts, which start on Sunday. So yeah, see you later.